It's like,
versus
what is it in the human psyche that makes you say, I need I need to keep chasing this feeling. I need more
right,
of what this feeling is. And that's what
right,
I'm saying that and
Yeah.
none of us here have that whatever it is that connects that person to that whatever that substance is, we don't have it. None of us are on. We're not alcoholics. We're not on drugs. So something in that type of brain is causing the need to chase that feeling. Whereas us, we'll take a drink. We might even be drunk one day, but we won't be. I need to have this every day. I don't,
Right.
right.
we
And
might
that's
smoke
where,
weed, but we don't have to go beyond smoking a little weed. So I'm
yeah.
saying that I don't, whatever it is in the human psyche that takes that person from point A to point B, I don't know that part. And that's the part that baffles me is like, what made you go to this, become the person who is now shooting up heroin?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
we
So
weren't
many
all that
things
way.
that go
We
into
didn't
that.
start, you didn't
Yeah.
start that way. You know what I mean? So if
And then and
something triggered you to say, I'm going to try this, and I've
right.
never had the moment where I said, I'm going to try it. Nah, I'm cool. You know what I mean? You can,
Yeah.
what made you not be able to say no is my thing.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the addiction
Well, yeah.
piece.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's the addiction piece. Is once you're not able to say no, once you spend all your time drug seeking and spending all your money, it starts affecting your daily living, your job, your relationships. That's the addiction piece where you're just not
Yeah.
able to say no. And
even
there's
before it gets to addiction, though,
factors
y'all,
that
because
go into that.
I don't mean to cut you off. I mean, before it gets to addiction, like, if somebody offered you crack right now, you would be like, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? Like, you would say no.
Yeah,
But
hell no.
so you wouldn't even get to the point where you've tried it to get addicted.
That's
You see what I'm
yeah.
Well,
saying? Like you would turn it down before it even
again,
gets into it would never get into your system.
you're correct,
Whereas
but
some people would be like, sure, I'll try it. Like, why are you trying
but
it? And you know what it leads to. And that's
I
what
mean,
I
but
can't
okay.
reconcile.
Well, it's just like people who might, if somebody offered for you to jump out of an airplane, you might be like, hell no, is this sucker burning? No, do I have a choice? Whereas somebody else might be like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. I want to try it. I want to see what it's like.
Mm-hmm.
You There's things that go into a person's mind for why they might decide to try something, and 9 times out of 10, if you're abusing one substance, it's not a far stretch for you to start abusing something else,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you feel like, well, I might be able to get a greater high. I might
Hmm.
be able to or some people do it for economic reasons. I was watching a documentary about a mother. She got hooked on pain pills. Eventually, she wasn't able to get the pain pills anymore, so she turned to heroin because
Yeah.
it was going to give her that same pain relief, and it was a lot cheaper than trying to get these prescriptions. So the progression into abusing one thing and now I'm abusing something else. That's the first thing that we have to look at. But then all the other factors for why people make a progression into this risky behavior, you'd really have to interview them and figure out, okay, what's going on in this person's life?
Yeah.
How did they grow up? What are their cultural beliefs? What is it that's making them feel like they want to do this? It could go back to that whole forbidden thing, like, ooh, you know what? Everybody says this is so bad, but I'm curious to see. I've met people on all of these parts of the spectrum. When I talk to people and I counsel them to find out, okay, well, what has happened in your life that has made you get into drugs and made it difficult for you to get into drugs? Oh, I started partying when I was like 12. When I was 13, 14 years old, we started out smoking weed and drinking dad's beer. And then as we continued to party with other people, somebody introduced this. Everybody else was doing it, so I figured, well, I might as well try it. So and so said, oh, it wasn't that bad, it wasn't that big a deal. Peer pressure, you know, goes from peer
Yeah.
pressure into you getting into these hard drugs. Now you are physically addicted to it. And you can't say no. You got to keep chasing that high and keep chasing that high. Or it could be where something traumatic was going on in the family. Daddy beating mommy, or mommy left home, and I've got all this trauma, and I just want to escape it. Or
Yeah.
now I don't like myself. and I can't stand to look at myself in the mirror every morning, so I got to get high just to deal with life. You know what I mean? It's so many factors that go into why people
Yeah.
progress from abuse into
Yeah.
full on addiction.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, there are a lot of different reasons, but when you look at, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring up as far as America, because when you look at America, the pill use is very interesting too, because it's interesting you brought that up. I saw a movie like last year. I forgot the name of it, but it was on Netflix. But it was kind of sad because it was talking about um the opioid issue. I forgot what kind of, it wasn't fentanyl, but whatever. It was about, so basically, those movies where they kind of intersect four different stories
Hmm.
in the same movie. So it's basically four different stories about people who got hooked to pills. And there was a guy. He was I want to say he was a mechanic or something. Anyway, he fell and he hurt his back. Not, I mean, good, regular, everyday, hardworking guy, right?
Mhm.
Had a wife, two kids, and he hurt his back. He started taking the pills, like you said, Gina.
Yeah.
Um, and before you know it, he got hooked to them, and he
Hmm.
started going to the doctor to get them. He started really needing them,
Yeah.
and he was getting high off of them. He got used to it, and he became a serious addict.
Mm.
And he was fighting it hard. He went to rehab and all that, and he just could not fight. He ended up overdosing.
Oh
So,
God.
and it might have been fentanyl. I can't remember, but the point is that there are people who do have these addictive personalities, or I don't know, like B said, we don't have that experience. There's some people, when you try certain things, they're so addictive.
Mhm.
That's what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but I still think it's interesting that in America we just seem to be more prone to do it. And I think that also, I think B, you said that as far as access, and I think that's true too. We
Hmm.
probably have a lot more access to a lot of different types of drugs, you
Mhm.
know. And yeah, I mean, look, we talk about being poor here, but most people who are our poor class, and I'm not saying anybody should be happy to be poor, but our poor isn't isn't the same type of poor. There's poor other places where they trying to get one meal every other day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? One real meal every other day if they lucky. So I think in America we are kind of conditioned to, what we expect and what we have. Basically, we have room and time to spend money to get high and still have some of the basic. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we look at it like that, where we have the benefit of
Mhm.
being like, I'm gonna get high
Yeah.
versus other places. And I think that's part of the culture. So
Yeah.
um but I don't know. Let me play this quick thing on fentanyl, because I'm not really tapped into fentanyl. I hear about it,
Mhm.
but apparently it's like the most dangerous thing, because it seems like you don't have to have a lot to die from it.
No.
Right.
Now, did Michael Jackson, he died of fentanyl? Was it from fentanyl for Michael Jackson as well?
Propofol.
I
That was
don't know.
propofol. No, it wasn't fentanyl. It was propofol.
Propofol, okay. And Whitney Houston also, was she propofol or she was fentanyl?
No, that was. I thought she overdosed on cocaine
That's what I thought.
because she drowned in the
Uh,
bathtub. I thought her official
yeah, but I
cause of
thought
death
she
was
took
drowning,
something.
but I thought she had taken cocaine and OD'd.
Mm.
Nah, I think Whitney was off of that cocaine. I think she was on something else. But I could be
No,
wrong.
I don't know, bro. I think she might have still been on that coke guy.
And
Yep.